So yesterday we were talking about how we accumulate the things and how that is detriment to the earth. Yeah. So I'll just recapture what we were discussing. Let me just close this. Okay. The earth does not have enough resources to satisfy everyone's lust for comfort and accumulation. Therefore, sooner or later, this lust will lead to human ruin. All objects of comfort and accumulation need to be aligned with human purpose, that is, towards nourishment, protection of the body, and social participation. Moving towards social participation leads to participation in an indivisible society and universal orderliness. As humans live based on these premises, they become capable of living with resolution, prosperity, and happiness, peace. Yes, so we had not come to this sentence yet. So, as humans live based on these premises, they become capable of living with resolution, prosperity, and happiness, peace. We can have the discussion on this, and also we can try to retranslate it back to Hindi so that we can get some clarity. Anybody has the book of the Hindi?
Yes, 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 भैया. I
Ah,
can
yes,
I
please.
can read.
Hmm.
Yes. सबकी सुविधा संग्रह की हविष पूरा करने की सामग्री इस धरती में नहीं है।
Hmm.
इसलिए कहीं ना कहीं यह हविष आदमी को डुबोएगी। इसलिए सारे सुविधा संग्रह को प्रयोजन सम्मत करना जरूरी है।
Hmm.
प्रयोजन सम्मत करते हैं तो शरीर पोषण, संरक्षण और समाज गति ही निकलता है। समाज गति की ओर जाते हैं तो अखंड समाज में भागीदारी करना, सार्वभौम व्यवस्था में भागीदारी करना ही निकलता है। इन प्रवर्तनों में आदमी जीने जाता है, तब समाधान समृद्धि पूर्वक सुख शांति संपन्न होकर जीना बनता है।
बढ़िया. Okay.
आगे आगे पढ़ो भैया, यहीं तक ही।
We can
दो
continue in
तीन दो।
English, but I
हाँ।
think it is self-explanatory. Uh,
हम्म।
Resolution, prosperity, and happiness, peace. So basically, we are not just talking about prosperity and peace, but resolution, prosperity, and we are talking about peace, which is bringing happiness with it, right? So that was just I wanted some clarity for that. Yes, but yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So, Bhaiya, would you like to read?
Yes, yes.
Ah.
In this way, the goal of Jeevan is to evidence human awakening in existence. In this way, the goal of Jeevan is to evidence human awakening in existence. I think दो बार लिख दिया।
Ah. Ah.
Its
Ah.
success is based on the fact that every human wants to live in orderliness. While in delusion, the basis of order is fear and temptation. Upon awakening, orderliness is with the recognition of values, evaluation, and mutual satisfaction. There is a need to develop understanding for it. इसको मैं हिंदी में और पढ़ लेता हूँ, then we can
Hmm.
discuss.
Hmm. ठीक.
इस विधि से अस्तित्व में जागृति को प्रमाणित करना ही जीवन का उद्देश्य है। इसमें अद्भुत स्रोत सफलता का आधार यही है कि हर व्यक्ति व्यवस्था में जीना चाहता है। भ्रम पर्यंत व्यवस्था का मूल तत्व भय और प्रलोभन है।
Hmm.
जागृति के अनंतर मूल्य, मूल्यांकन और उभय तृप्ति को पहचानना, जिसके
Hmm.
लिए समझदारी को विकसित करने की आवश्यकता है।
Hmm. बढ़िया. Yeah. So, uh, where we can just go line by line. Where we can stop is where people want some clarification, but I think it's very easy because we have read previously all these words. Say, for example, evidence human awakening in existence. So that is the goal of the Jivan, right? And in this way, the goal of the Jivan is evidence. Okay, it's repeating. Its success is based on the fact that every human wants to live in orderliness. So, the success of the human, which is basically the success of the Jivan, right? In this way, the goal of the Jivan is to evidence human awakening, and its success is based on the fact that every human wants to live in orderliness. So, once every person has become awakened, then the evidence of orderliness will happen by itself, and we will see orderliness or activities that are done by humans will be depicting orderliness, right? As compared to when, while in delusion, the basis of order is fear and temptation. So, rightfully, we can see that countries, even at the level of countries, I'm talking about countries because we are in a position right now where we are seeing some sort of imbalance or some sort of query whether there will be a war or not. So that's why I'm trying to give that example. We are showing the fear, or rather, we are trying to showcase that we are not fearful by showcasing our weaponry, buying the weapons, selling the weapons to the people who are fearful. So countries, for example, India is starting to arm its neighbors, and when you do that, that basically means that they will be also defending India, because I mean, if it's one way of making a pack, like the way the gang or the pack of wolves want to attack something, they will make a gang of those similar kind of uh, wolves, and then they will be, they will be more powerful like that. So this is what is actually happening. We are arming our neighbors so that they can also be helpful to us when we are in trouble. And yeah, so otherwise, upon awakening, orderliness is the recognition of values, evaluation, and mutual satisfaction. So this values, I think it means, if I can just scroll up, mm, maybe those are the merits. It's not, these were not the values as such. So these are called the merits. So I think the values are the mulyas, maybe. That's what is being said here.
हाँ जी भैया।
Okay. So the nine mulyas are being talked about when you are talking about values here.
हम्म,
Um, and then evaluation, what was the translation in Hindi?
मूल्यांकन।
Mulyankan. Okay. So
हम्म,
I believe what that means is that there is a self analysis of the human, and based on that, there is also uh, a way of giving thanks or being thankful to the person who is more knowledgeable. So basically, it means that we are giving our attention to a person who is higher or is more orderliness, and in that way we are actually evaluating the other person, and we are evaluating ourselves, and based on that we are learning from the person who is more evolved than us in the sense
दिस
of knowledge. Yeah.
रेवरेंस, रेवरेंस दैट विल कॉल,
Right. Okay.
रेवरेंस टुवर्ड्स दैट पर्सन, और श्रद्धा हिंदी में बोलेंगे।
Right. Badhiya. So this all these things play a very very intrinsic role. All these words that I'm saying, and we need to learn from them. So we have evaluated ourselves, and we have also evaluated the other, and I think that is a way of communicating to the other person that we want to learn from them also. And by the way, that person who is also more evolved, in the sense more knowledgeable, will be finding a sort of happiness also sharing what he or she knows. So that's very important. It's not just that we are finding happiness by learning from them, they also find a sort of thankfulness that they are being heard, or they're sharing their knowledge, or they are clearing our doubts. So that also is there, and this is felt in the Jivan itself. So that's, I just wanted to mention. And mutual satisfaction. So now this can be equated to the way human interacts with another human being. And I'm sure we have always experienced somewhere down the line in our lives that we have not found justice in our activities of daily life. Maybe we have got 1 marks or 2 marks less than what we deserved in the tests, or maybe we have been assessed wrongly, and then we have been not given the right sort of justice for that. So mutual satisfaction is when both persons or activities that are involved, they get the best of fruiting. So it's like something positive happens not just to one person. There is not just one winner, but both parties win. So this is very interesting way of putting it. I'm reminded of a story that I mean, it's obviously it's Adar Shwad. A lot of idealism is in that story, but it was a very cute story that I wanted to share. That if we are seeing a cricket match, or maybe football or cricket, let's take cricket. So if we are watching a cricket match, and if somebody wins or makes a run, we will be cheering that particular team only, right? And then when the other team comes along and when they start scoring also, we are not feeling good, or we feel that okay, now we'll have to work harder or like that. But if a person who is enlightened, or if a person who is in orderliness, they will always cheer all the time whenever a person hits the run, or be it that team or the other. It doesn't matter, neither or either of the teams can hit the ball and gain the points, and that will be fine with that person. So that's basically like enjoying the game rather than enjoying the, or putting some reverence on one particular team only. And then that's the way of truly understanding the game, and just being like an observer, and that's how it is. I'm just giving an example. It's not the perfect of example, but mutual satisfaction, I think it means that when we are satisfied, and the other party or person is also satisfied. And this is very important and crucial in human to human relationships, because even in today's best of jobs or best of businesses, we are seeing that the somewhere down the line, we are not able to keep the good employees, or the good employees always leave the job, because they are good at their work, so they know that they can get the job elsewhere. So every business is trying to fix that situation by giving more and more services, more health benefits, this, that, the other, to keep the people attracted to their job. And it is almost like a war of sorts to get the good people to stay in the or when we are in with knowledge, basically. There is no need to develop understanding for it. Yeah, so we will start valuing all these things, and that understanding is there. Basically, we are not supposed to say that we need to now learn also how to feel the values, or we need to learn how to evaluate, or we need to learn how what is mutual satisfaction. That is just understood, by all humans. And that's this just one of the interesting points about this darshan is that all the mulyas that has been identified, the nine mulyas have been identified, are universal, right? And all the relationships are also universal. So it's like we already have a sketched out plan of the bare bones of the whole system and how it will works. And now it's just about connecting the dots, so the dots have already been placed wherever they are in the rightful way, and now it's just about joining it with the knowledge of coexistence. But yeah, anybody has any sort of question or comment?
I wanted to add something to this. I
Ah, yes,
would
Didi.
also like to. Uh, the basically what I have understood from this paragraph, it is saying that in human beings, not in human beings, what is the goal of Jeevan? Goal in the sense, what is the end goal? Why do we exist? Why did the earth develop so much so that humans could exist?
Mm,
So the this basically is telling us that this has happened so that we can actually evidence human awakening. Human
mm,
awakening meaning जागृति को हम प्रमाणित कर सकें. Right? We
mm,
can prove, we can provide the evidence that there is such a thing where we have all our we are centered and we have our atma leading us and we have the entire understanding of the entire existence, we can finally present the proof of that. That is why we exist. And this can be when and how will we be able to see? How will it become a proof? It will become a proof when there will be constant orderliness in nature, and human will also exist in that orderliness. Currently, we have read in the past lessons that human beings are existing in a lot of chaos. We are creating chaos. We are disrupting nature. We are disrupting society. We are um, sad. We are confused. Right? All of that. So the point of evidence for human awakening is going to be this orderliness within which we will exist, right? And currently, what is happening is that we are not able to exist in this orderliness because why? How we are trying to make that order is out of fear or out of temptation. So either
Right.
it is out of fear of, let's say, currently. So the
Didi, your
society
voice is slowly getting lower and lower in volume.
is it better now?
No, it's still
Actually,
very
somebody
low.
rang the bell.
Okay,
Is it
okay.
better?
हाँ
Huh.
ठीक है बढ़िया.
Yes. So the basically currently what is happening is that the human society is now also trying to maintain order, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
the way by which it is doing is through either fear or
Hmm.
through temptation, right?
Right.
So the justice system, the penal system, everything is
Right.
made so that we can prevent the bad things from happening. We can prevent chaos from happening
Hmm.
by fear. We are controlling it by fear. That if you
Right.
will kill someone, you are going to get killed.
Right.
That ways it is happening, right? An eye for an eye is happening. So
Right.
fear is the driving force because of which we are living in correctly, right?
Hmm.
If we generally correct ask someone, if nobody is watching, will you steal something? Yeah, if there is not an invigilator in the classroom, will you cheat? So yes,
Right.
they'll obviously cheat. They're
Right.
not going to not cheat. They're not going to not steal because they think that that is the right thing to do. They're
Hmm.
only going to do this because there is the fear of getting caught.
Hmm.
And on the other end, this is how fear works, right?
Hmm.
Now, and the fear is again in terms of even in acting morally correctly, right? In human beings, such as let's say society.
Hmm.
So the moral code is then dictated by religion, right? So then there is the fear of the hell and the heaven. कि नरक
Right.
में जाओगे, you'll die and you'll be fried in the oil and you'll be poked with
Right.
spears
Right.
and all of that is feared. So you
Hmm.
live right in this life, otherwise after death you will be punished. So that
Hmm.
is the another way that fear is working, and this is so ingrained in our faith, in our even in our sentences, even in our languages. Even when we say
Hmm.
एक छोटा सा मुहावरा भी जब हम किसी बच्चे को कहते हैं तो
Hmm.
भगवान सब देख रहा है, इट इज नॉट
Hmm.
बिकॉज भगवान सब देख रहा है तो आप भगवान के साथ व्यवस्था में रहिए. भगवान देख रहा है तो मतलब तुम्हें तुम्हें डरना चाहिए
Right.
ऐसा, right?
Right.
Then
Right.
comes temptation. Even when we are talking about some small child, ki why
Hmm.
should I matlab study so much? Because you
Hmm.
will get this cycle, because you will get this
Hmm.
watch, right?
Right.
Why is any company doing very good thriving? So why? For because of the temptation of more money, more profit, right?
Right.
So these are the two things which are basically driving the human society so that it appears to be in order, but it is actually not in order. Once
Hmm.
we have awakened,
Hmm.
this orderliness will not be because of either fear or temptation. This will be because of the values, our own evaluation, and mutual satisfaction. So, values meaning the values will not be limited to then those 9 values. Those are basically feelings. Values will, I think I don't know the exact number right now, but values will then expand into different ways. One that you feel within yourself, your own understanding, and then the mutual one where you are living with that feeling, right? तो
Hmm.
विश्वास अपने आप में और फिर विश्वास के साथ सामने वाले के साथ जीना.
बढ़िया. बढ़िया. Yes.
We'll be able to evaluate where
Hmm.
our understanding is
Hmm.
and then improve about that. If
Hmm.
we feel that we have not understood something better, then we'll
Hmm.
understand that, then we'll live according to it. And slowly, because
Hmm.
of this, we will be able to experience mutual satisfaction. So
Hmm.
whatever value it is. So let's take a very small example. For example, trust, right?
Right.
So I have to first develop a better understanding of trust. I have to understand trust within myself, by myself,
Hmm.
right? I should be able to understand it. Then I'll be able to understand how to live in it, right? How to live in it with another person, how to live with it with, like, it is not an act, it is living in it. So when the in Vidya we say, right, the a few days back we were talking about the sthiti and the gati, the state and the motion, I think, right?
Right.
So
Right.
these values are the state. These states we exist in. We will be able to, open our eyes and be able to see that we are existing in these feelings, that there is trust, there is continuous trust, there is continuous respect, there is continuous faith, there's everything which is there, and I am existing within it. With that understanding, I will be able to then, yes, Neelam Didi is saying that 9 Sthapit Mulya and 9 Shish Mulya. Yes. So the after living in it, after being able to express this for someone in a relationship, तो उसके लिए जो उसकी कर्तव्य दायित्व होंगे उसमें जीने के बाद, then I will be able to experience mutual satisfaction with that person. So let's say that I am in the feeling of care for someone, let's say my mother, right? So sometimes she is in the feeling of care for me, and sometimes I'm mutually it is happening, right? It is not about कि मम्मी ही बच्चे के लिए करती है, बच्चा भी मम्मी के लिए कर सकता है. So then she'll, let's say, do something like she cooked a meal. So when she is cooking the meal, she is doing this as an expression of her care, and me receiving that nourishment and me feeling the gratitude towards her, me being able to reciprocate those feelings, that will lead to mutual satisfaction. Then slowly and steadily we'll move on from this, and this will expand to the entire human civilization instead of just me and my mother. Then care is not a feeling which exists between ma and bacha. It is something which exists between every human with every human. Then there will be ultimate orderliness. Then there will be the evidence of human awakening. That is, I think.
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. Yeah, so I think you put it very rightfully that there are basically three levels of understanding, and that is in the individual family unit, and then there's the societal unit, and then there is the Sarvabhauma Vyavastha, where is the universal way of looking at it. So there are trust, and all these values also are, I think, developed in those three stages also, and I think that's what. Is also to be taken into account, so yes, बहुत बढ़िया. Hmm. Anybody else wants to add to this?
Yes, Bhaiya. Namaste.
Ah, yes,
I,
namaste.
I just wanted to add one point that see, we humans actually convey or behave where there are through feelings, that is what we feel in a relationship. But what here Madhyas Darshan is also emphasizing is on that these emotions and feelings can be related only to the five sensory things. It is more to the values, that is वो feelings से ज़्यादा it is related to the knowledge. And मतलब of course you when there is a uh, transfer of values between or exchange of values between two individuals, feelings after that would be in the right perspective basically, and it will be more pragmatic than emotional that we have today. So I just wanted to add that we have to also think that it's not just um, of course first when a child is born, he is connected to the feelings uh, of touch with the mother.
Right.
But then as we grow, like everyone feels satisfied through values. That's what I want to add. Thank you.
बढ़िया. So I think it's an inclination. Anand Bhaiya, you want to mention something?
नहीं भैया, I joined late.
Ah,
Let the conversation flow. अगर
okay,
कुछ query है तो कुछ बात कर सकते हैं, otherwise it's all fine.
okay, बढ़िया. Yeah, so the basic template, as I was saying, it is there. The nervous system and is designed to give us a basic contemplate sort of minuscule levels of sensations, and that is basically from the five senses. And then that is basically the cue points, like where to start from, and that is actually the only one of the only ways that we have actually survived, because some of these sensations are actually linked with survival. And I would say, for example, the sense of touch, maybe we can say that it evolved out of maybe we knowing what and where we are feeling something crawling up on our hand or on our leg, and then we feel that because of the nervous system, and that has actually added to our survival. When we hear something, uh, animal in the jungle somewhere, and we are alert because of that. So, and when we use our eyes to see the things, so we see the predator or things like that. So we, when we look at all these senses in the animals also, their purpose is there to add to its continuity, or maybe even is for its survival. So we are seeing that we are also equated with those same sensations ever since we are born, and that can be also argued that that is there to give us a basic outline of what to continue with, as in with the sensations we can go on and adding to it. And then we'll, now when we talk about the justice, we will also feel that there is a particular orderliness to every senses, and we will not do any sort of harm to the human beings who are actually at large. So I just so happened to see the movie which was the emergency, and just was on the Netflix, so I just happened to see it. And since we have not actually witnessed the situations of war, I mean, I have not at least witnessed that. Maybe the war might be happening, but I have not been that vicinity. So I had always had this disconnect with the levels of pain, or the way the people had to migrate and they were killed and all this kind of things. So seeing these things always creates a sort of very deep impressions in the mind, that look at the uh, way the human acts, or the way the human does things when he is not or when he is rather in delusion. And it is such a sad thing, but this is the truth of the things. It is just a couple of decades ago that these things were happening on this earth, and they are still happening some places, right? And it is a sad thing that we are equipped with so much of potential, and yet the only way to govern, or to rather put some human beings at a level of control, is through fear. And that's I think temptation is at least favorable, but then to put them to fear, to kill them, to take away their life, that is something very regretful. But yes, we are part of that history. Yes, so
No, yes, I would also like to add. Yesterday only I saw it.
mm,
I have seen the movie. It's there is one point
mm,
where see when there was a need to establish Bangladesh and they wanted to help the East Pakistan.
mm,
When she had to take the decision,
mm,
then Indira Gandhi then sees a photo frame of Gandhiji,
mm.
and there are all other opposition leaders and all leaders that are
Waiting, yeah.
gathered, yes,
Right.
in the meeting. And they say, then you are showing Gandhiji, that means you're pinpointing that we should keep mum and we
Yeah.
should pursue non-violence. She says,
Right.
no,
Mm,
I'm showing you that he has in hand Bhagavad
mm.
Gita, and in that Gita Sar it is said that when truth has to prevail, then if
War
there
has.
is no way, then only war is the solution.
Mm, right.
That is also, like, if we see uh,
Mm,
um, how far to justify that. And I also,
mm,
like, since we are in this in this world of uh, of inorderliness,
Mm.
it is also imperative for us to get the knowledge of, not the knowledge, it's not called knowledge, but education of at least something called martial arts or something, uh, yes, we are doing a good job to how truth can be surfaced. It is only
Ah.
by correct education. I
Mm.
totally agree. But
Mm.
seeing that situation that happened,
Mm.
there are countries, and today's situation, it is really deeply, entangled. Everything is so much entangled.
Mm.
So it will take time, of course, but I think such education also we cannot deny that as of now, in this
Mm.
transition period
Mm.
also.
No,
What do you think about it? What do you think
I
about
I would actually like to say that as I was watching it, there was times in that episodes were coming in my mind that nay, we should the right thing happened. We should retaliate like this only, and then suddenly I realized no, this is actually a script. Maybe it happened in reality, but the script is ordained, is in fashioned in that way that as if that was the only option at that point of time. See, what happens is there is some drums, there are some music of patriotism and sounds of roars of cries of war and all these kind of things are happening. So we are also, हम लोग भी आवेशित में आ जाते. That's what I'm trying to say. We are also taken for a ride basically, and I think a lot of time we always have a choice. So I mean, if you talk about Gita, the Krishna is himself a Ranchod, he's the one who cowards away from a war situation. And then, yet in the Gita, it is said that he has called out for the war. So it's very murky the way it is chosen, what we are choosing. And yes, I mean, defense is the way to do this kind of things. We are also told that we should at least save our lives. But I don't think it means by fighting the war or the person. It means by going or fleeing to a place where there is peace and quiet. I don't think it means that you just stick there, wait for the person to come and kill you or to attack you, and then you are saying, okay, I will prevent myself from being killed by attacking. So it's very important that we get this understanding that as a human being who is respecting their own existence, uh, we also need to understand that we are existing and we are also allowing others to exist in peace, and for that reason we are going to leave that place, be it even our birthplace. So this is the thing that also struck me, that the place in Palestine, the Gazan strip, people were not leaving that place, and indeed the neighboring countries were also not allowing them refugees to come to enter their countries. They were saying that is your land, you stay there, you be patriotic, and that's how it's going to be. So I mean, at the point of view of seeing it holistically, I don't think that that's the right way of dealing with the situation. If something is uh, happening and it's out of your control, then the only logical thing to do I think is to leave that place and live peacefully elsewhere. I mean, yes, of course. I mean, there has to be challenges at that point of time, but then when I mean, it can't be that bad as compared to staying in that place and then fighting for your land and fighting for your these things. I mean, that is my point of view. We were just taken for a ride in the movie at least, and I think that's not fair. I mean, see, what happens is when you pronounce this movie, when this movie takes off, and then we start seeing that the youth is also having this rush of hormones and watching this, and then the impression of the things, they are stuck with the person, imprinted in the person. And then when the situation something similar arises, you will always remember to, okay, go to war, fight, create the havoc, fight for your motherland. What motherland? You are staking in a place, a continent that is shifted towards the Asian continent, the India was completely down below Africa. I mean, the tectonic plates have moved it up, and now it's suddenly motherland, and now the greater Bharat is suddenly some bigger thing for you. I mean, it's in orderliness. The fact that the earth is not just one part and pieces, that we are saying that this is motherland and this is not motherland. I mean, what is this? This is just way of looking at it, making a mockery of existence, and then putting words like patriotism, and then infringing and imprinting these things in the minds, the young minds, and creating a sort of havoc. That's what I think the movie was actually. I mean, of retrospect, after watching the movie, I just had this conclusion that this kind of things, way they are projected, unnecessarily create a person into disorderliness. That's all I saw in that movie. Nothing to do with the harmony or to create a sort of tranquil environment for the future. Nothing like that. Just to put us back into that historical place where people were agitated, were in disorder, and then creating that same thing is again in the mind. And again, we have proofs that when the mind thinks of something, it is also feeling those emotions. As you said, Nilababi, we are controlled with these emotions again, and those emotions arise again in the same way, because the brain cannot identify between what it's seeing and what is the reality. It just sees the same thing as the truth, so that's how the brain perceives it. So yes, again, I mean, we should be very careful, at least when we are talking about this kind of things. And it's not an historical document, it is an entertainment thing. So I mean, everybody sees it, be it of any age. If it was historical and it was just for there to put into pictures what was happened at that time, that was fine. That would have been stayed with the scholars or people who are interested in that history. But now this is going into the media. It is showing into Netflix, and Netflix is with everybody. And yeah, so I think that is my, I mean, understanding that it was unnecessary the way it was projected. And for that movie, any situation of war projected on the screen is just unnecessary right now. It is just creating a sort of unnecessary, uninvited emotions come back to people, and then they start feeling the things that they felt in the past. I mean, fine. It was a I mean, again, it's like saying 2 plus 2 is 5. Everybody is now going to think 2 plus 2 is 5. It's not 5. That was the wrong thing that happened. Why should we make it into an entertainment fiasco? So that's what I mean, that's what I'm understanding. Maybe we have some other ideas and viewpoints.
No, but yeah, I'm not justifying what is shown. What I'm
Hmm.
trying to say is, I just wanted to have a view that would there be in our schools that is going to be human centric as of now, providing true knowledge, that is Madhyastha Darshan, and
Hmm.
also since we will be in a transition phase,
Hmm.
it is prudent to provide such defense education also. Was what I am trying to say right now. Is it okay or is it's not? It's that, and I understand. Then we should of course make a film, which where we should give the sabadhanatmak
Orderliness. Right.
resolutions to whatever
Right.
history has said. Of course, that kind
Hmm.
of film should be portrayed and sent. That kind of
Hmm.
messages should be sent. But
Right.
I'm talking about the transition
Hmm.
period. So it's just a question that I had. And so what people think about it.
Hmm.
I don't think anywhere Babaji has mentioned about this. I am sure
Hmm.
because he is just, he believes that this earth is to be lived and sustained, and it can be only happened through proper knowledge
Hmm.
and through orderliness between all the avasthas.
Right.
So I totally agree with that. But I'm
Right.
just talking about the Sankraman Kal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I have two sentences on this. Then maybe we can listen to others also. Uh, there was this great talk by Osho, and he said that when you are smoking and you want to stop smoking, obviously everybody wants to stop smoking, right? So do we stop smoking slowly, or do we stop smoking, like maybe if you're having 10 cigarettes, let's say, and then now we want to stop smoking, so maybe for 1 week we'll go to 9, then the next week we'll go to 8, and then next week we go to 7. So that is what I'm understanding by the The sang what little Bobby, what did you say? Sangam Kal?
No, I'm talking about the transition phase from
Ha,
inorderliness, which is
to
happening right
orderliness.
now, to the
Ha.
ordinary state which we want to go.
Right, right. So the question again is similar to this talk that I was of Osho, and the fact that we still think that it's okay to smoke five or four or three or two or one even for that matter is that we have not known what is health. We not known what is the importance of our body's health, which is that we need not smoke at all. So, I mean, of course, not everybody is understanding this, but where there is understanding, I think there has to be clear cut realization that we cannot allow some things of disorderliness to continue. Even I mean, for look at the nature, the way it is working. I mean, it's perfectly the cycles are working in coexistence. Uh, so much so that if we stopped our interventions, it is starting to heal itself. The earth starts healing itself, right? That's the extent that it is working at. The moment we just stopped and stayed in the homes, uh, the effect was apparently within weeks that started happening. So everything is happening in orderliness, right? So when we talk about nature or when we talk about the environment or the three orders, how they are functioning with intrinsic coexistence, then there is no doubt that there are systems in play that they are working towards the the orderliness, right? So who are we to maybe slow down the things or to take it slowly and then maybe we'll do it tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. It's just a way of staying with the herd, basically. I think we have to be clear on these things. uh, we are still not clear in our mind that the importance of the orderliness is so much so that we have to stop the intervention of or the ill use of all the three orders and also the fourth or the humans. We cannot keep on doing the things that we are doing once we are knowing the knowledge, once we are knowledgeful, once we are having this information within us, within if we have embodied it literally, made it to what we are speaking, what we are breathing, the darshan. Basically what I'm trying to say is that, and otherwise, it's just, I think, a mockery. We'll smoke today one cigarette and then we'll not smoke tomorrow. We'll smoke three today, then tomorrow, then we'll stop like that. So, uh, smoking is bad. Let's stop it today. That's what my point is. Today, ignorance and the delusion is wrong. Let's just stop it. I mean, we are individuals. We don't have to look outside. We are a individual. Then we have a family unit, basically the husband and wife. We are there to know what is right and wrong. We recognize it, and if we still continue with it, it is just a reflection of our own mockery that we are doing on our own selves. Because as we said in the beginning, this darshan is about us being in orderliness, right? So it means that we are supposed to understand, and when once we understand, we should evidence the understanding with orderliness activities and actions. I mean, where is the gray line? Where should be? Why should there be the gray line? In fact, that's what I was saying. Why should be the gray line exist even? And if the gray line is existing indeed, then what is the difference between us and the delusion people? They are also saying that we will need to plant the trees, we need to save the tiger, this, that, the other. They are also doing that, but they are not doing it without the understanding of coexistence. They're just seeing the things fracturing up, and they're trying to patch it up, with the things. Some people who have money are trying to patch up it with a bigger force, that let's go out and live in another planet. I was just looking at this documentary. I will share it maybe in the group. That just because we are supposed to be evolved, we need to be in a interplanetary system. That's what that documentary was saying, that we are so smart, we are so evolved, and all these things are for us, that we can go to other planetary systems, then we should go to the other planetary system. But by our evolutionary system, our heartbeat is linked with the atmospheric pressure of the earth. So much everything is linked literally with this system that we are in orderliness with. Now, if we go even a planet like Mars, so much is different there. The atmosphere is not even there. How will we calibrate with our heartbeats? We will not be able to have a proper heartbeat also there. The atmospheric pressure does something with our heartbeats. It's not just so simple. So now we will create artificial living areas in that bubbles that they are calling it, that air bubbles or whatever it is, so that there will be orderliness there. So I mean, it is just levels of delusion, right? Why should we have levels of delusion? Why don't we have the right orderliness fashioned the way it is seen here? We see it within ourselves. We start evidencing it as soon as we start seeing it, and that should be the way we should be living. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit overwhelmed and emotional on these things, but I think this is the way it should be. If we are clear in our mind, we should be clear in our heart and with our activities also. Yes, maybe we can have some other inputs.
The question that I understood is that what kind of education is to be given to the children. Is that the correct question?
Not what kind of education, Bhaiya. I just wanted to ask,
Mhm.
should um, the education of martial arts be given in such schools also or not?
See, this is a skill. Martial arts is a skill of defending yourself, right?
Yes.
It's a kind of a body strengthening thing where you strengthen your own body, you build your own stamina. As long as it is given with a very clear intention, it is for your health. There is no harm in that. If it is done with an intention of exploiting someone, then that's not correct. And I don't think there is any martial art that talks of exploiting.
Right.
All the martial arts that are available in humanity today, they they cannot become an aggressor. Anybody who knows martial arts is never found to be in aggression. So this agitated state of mind is just the opposite of what martial arts does.
Yeah.
So
Right, Bhaiya.
martial arts calm the people, martial arts give inner strength, they give the body strength, and that is the purpose of the martial arts. So I don't think there is anything wrong with martial arts per se.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
the perspective. I got it, Bhaiya. It totally answers my wrong thought. Yes, I totally agree with you the way you put it up. Correct. It is a perspective that we have to go through. Correct.
Yep, yep.
Hmm.
Perfect, Bhaiya.
But yeah. Okay.
Humility
So.
is another thing that martial arts teach. You see any picturization of any good martial arts superhero or a Buddhist monk or anybody who is good with martial arts, you'll find him very humble. He
Hmm.
is full of respect for everything.
Right.
So is knowledge is something that brings humility.
Right. Right. Thank you
Hmm.
so much, Bhaiya. Yes.
Yes. So we are about to start a new
8 minutes.
chapter if we should today. Yes, Bhaiya.
Oh, we can summarize. See, this another whole. When we talk of English,
Hmm.
evidencing is not something that anybody in English would understand. Ki what the word evidencing.
Hmm.
I heard it, you use it a lot of times, Janak ji. Ab kya hota hai, once we start reading it that way, we start using it that way, but that doesn't go right. That doesn't make any sense when we talk to anybody who understands English.
Hmm.
You have proof of things, you have validation.
Hmm.
We don't have that evidencing.
Hmm.
That is where we will need to really understand, go behind the whole concept and understand how to express it in a way that makes sense to someone who wants to read it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we cannot just
Uh,
put the itself we should be
कम
using
से
with
कम 10-12 बार आपने evidencing बोला था. I was just wondering कि ना for the kind of command you have over that language, how were you able to spell that word out, evidencing again and again? I was just wondering.
Hmm. No, I mean I understand with my mind, and I'm hoping that also we have the audience here with us in the group. But obviously, yes, you are right. With the others, it might be that it's not linking with the values and with the, you know,
Yes.
the yeah. So I get it totally that it should I should maybe express it with the values, evidencing the values or relationships.
No,
Maybe I should
you
say that.
can't evidence you can't evidence the values. How do you evidence the values?
Between
You express the
between the
values.
humans. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So that
Huh.
word by word translation will lead us to this. So there
Hmm.
are some beautiful discussions where Babaji has had discussions with different people about how the translation is going to function. This translation will only occur when somebody who has imbibed everything reproduces in the native language.
Hmm.
When we try to study a passage, look for words and then translate,
Hmm.
that's going to be really difficult.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then if the meaning doesn't go across, the whole content should not get
Yeah.
diluted, or content should not be considered as something that is not complete.
Hmm. Right.
This is such powerful content and such pious content. We have to be very careful with what we are dishing out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Claiming
Right.
that I am a student is just one thing that is okay within ourselves.
Hmm.
When you give out a book to someone,
Hmm.
it has to at least do justice to the kind of depth that this content is displaying.
Right. So probably we could say that the same, if the way it is translated here,
Hmm.
probably it should be giving with examples. How can we better it then? If it is used here, this, for example, it's used here in this
We
way,
will
the
have to
guru.
we'll have to rewrite we'll have to rewrite it. We will have to rewrite it.
Hmm. Okay.
Giving examples cannot see.
Hmm.
I know there's a sutra that is given by Babaji.
Hmm.
All analogies are good
Hmm.
up to a point.
Hmm.
The morning the video that I shared about Michael Levin,
Hmm.
he says it so beautifully that this is it. It is not as if you are outside the experiment and you are trying to do something.
Right.
It is something which you have to undergo. You should come out as a changed man.
Ah.
This whole concept of understanding is that we come out as a different person.
Yeah.
We are not the same old person who we were till we
Hmm.
understood that. So that change is internal.
Hmm. Yep.
So there are a lot of beautiful people and they are all trying to put the puzzle together.
Hmm.
So I'm sure we can pick up pieces from different people and then collate it together to understand, okay, this is because we have the complete thing and we are fortunate enough to know Hindi.
Hmm.
And just like you, I was struggling with Hindi very badly.
Hmm.
I was not good at Hindi, and any Hindi form I used to get for any government thing, I used to have my people do that for me.
Hmm.
But when I got this book, I went crazy. I said, okay, this is just too difficult.
Hmm.
So that is why we made that Paribhasa Samhita app and we linked it, and then that helped me navigate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to understand the whole gist.
Hmm. Right.
So we are lucky we understand the basic concept. We know what is the core content,
Hmm.
and then let's do one paragraph, one page, one concept at a time, and then maybe it's good. We are continuing this reading. We'll continue reading. I think full Abhyas Darshan also has been done. Not Abhyas Darshan. The Manav Vyavahar Darshan has been done. I
Right.
have that copies. The very first one, the old one, and the new one. The Chopra Bhaiya is also trying to do a lot of translation. There
Hmm.
is Drishta Beta who is also working. There are a lot of people working.
Hmm.
Let's hope we all join hands, put together something that is giving
Yeah.
out the message that in the pure form.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you
Yeah,
mentioned a
let's
very
let's
good
let's
point.
work on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a very good point that once we are experiencing and living that, then once we are doing that, then the translation happens differently. So yes, so
It will
that's
come
definitely
automatically. It
uh,
will come from the inside.
yeah. So that then that translated to the native language of that person will be different totally compared to word translation. So yes, that
Yep,
is
yep,
definitely
yep.
the case. And I believe I speak for everyone when we say that we are basically getting a sort of awareness in orderliness. I think we can use at least those two terms vaguely, of course. I mean, we are not maybe
No,
able to
being
evidence it
in
fully.
order, being in order is a perfect phrase, English phrase.
Hmm.
Humanity is in the quest to be in order.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's perfect. That is very nicely said.
Yeah.
And
So,
being a part of the bigger order system is working.
hmm.
Now, be orderly, be in order yourself, and then become a part of the bigger system. And we see that in our body.
Hmm.
Every cell in the kidney is complete in itself,
Hmm.
and they work in tandem to function like a kidney. And
Right.
kidney functions as a part of the excretory system. The
Right.
excretory system works as the part of the whole body, and the body is a single unit. And
Hmm.
billions of cells within the unit are complete in themselves.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the sort of we'll work. I'm sure with the
Hmm.
kind of dedication Salini and you are giving. Hats off to you guys.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
really hopeful. You guys will certainly make it happen.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting the way you also put it that orderliness is already happening in our systems. Once
yeah,
Pathak ji, I remember, was saying that if the human brain was not functioning, as in it was basically functioning at its lowest level, then the human body itself can survive for more than 150 years. So that means that the disorderliness within our mind, the,
absolutely,
or
absolutely.
the thought processes, so delusional thought processes are actually killing us literally. And that is also evidenced, I mean, sorry to use again, I'm not saying it, but that is proved when we get cancer, so when we get
Yeah,
cancer,
yeah, yeah,
we are not in the right mindset. So yeah, I just also learned that recently. That's just about
yeah,
um, diseases are just the sort of mindset that we are stuck in. Most of the diseases, I mean, not all. And yeah, so definitely what we have to do is some clarity within ourselves, create some orderliness, and yes, keep on uh, towards that initiative. बहुत बढ़िया.
yes, yeah.
So
Any other question anybody has? I would love to.
yes,
I have another 5-10 minutes where we can. If
हाँ,
there is any question, anything that anybody wants to get clarity about.
right. Shivangi Didi also had very good input today also.
Oh,
Yes.
nice, very nice.
Hmm.
So I think you don't mind me butting in whenever I get time. Is that okay now? If
नहीं नहीं बहुत बढ़िया. I actually get some clarification that what to do what not to do also, so that थोड़ा सा वो हो जाता है, वो कहता है ना mirror आ जाता है, तो that is also needed. And yes, definitely I get the gravity of the word. And
uh,
it is coming towards, as you had mentioned, we should not take it as a diluted form. That word itself is uh, very core of what darshan is. So yes, right,
yeah,
that we should be
darshan,
careful.
darshan signifies that the word is not important. The word, the meaning behind the word, and the existential reality that
Hmm.
is behind the meaning.
Right.
So the whole purpose of the word is to make you aware of the existential reality.
Hmm.
शब्द शब्द के पीछे अर्थ, अर्थ के पीछे वास्तविकता.
Right.
So
बहुत
it
बढ़िया.
has to start with the existential reality, and that reality should be visualized in the person who is reading the passage. Or
Explaining or
when
reading,
we
yeah.
read a novel, we get transported. We are
बढ़िया, बढ़िया.
in
So
the
yes, we have
room,
also
we
one
see things
other session that's
happening.
going to start, and I believe it started. So we'll end the
Yep.
talk here.
Yeah.
We'll continue
Okay.
again with
Perfect.
um, maybe we can just have a little bit of revision before we continue now to the Jeevan Kriya, the true form of Jeevan, and then we'll um, add from there tomorrow onwards. Okay. Thank you very much,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Good night.
Thank you, Bhaiya.